Recently, Bob and I went to the Toastmasters Leaders Institute, and B and I took a couple classes. And there in the classes, a woman shared some wisdom with us that I'm now going to pass on to you. And I think that it will help you in the future when you're putting your speeches together and presenting them to us. There is a man named, and I hope I get his name right, Albert Moravian, who is a psychologist, and he did a study on nonverbal communication. And he discovered two things. One of them is he created a rule called the 7-38-55% rule. Has anybody ever heard of that? Yeah, I hadn't heard of it either until we went to this class. What that means is, in communication, any face-to-face communication, 7% of it is the words that you use. Basically, all that time and effort that we put into putting our words together to present them to the people that we're doing speeches or communicating to, that's 7% of our communication. 38% is our nonverbal communication, our body language, how we carry ourselves, the way we dress. If I came in dressed all tartish, you know, mini skirt, low cut, and tried to give you a serious speech, you wouldn't take me very seriously. You'd still be focused on, why does she look like she just got off the corner, right? Or does she explain to us that also in the way that you dress, if you were presenting a budget speech to a company and you were a man in a suit and you had a red tie, all they'd be focused on is that red tie, and the whole time they'd be thinking, we're in the red, we're in the red, we're in the red. They wouldn't even really be listening to what you're saying. It's interesting how we will focus on something and not really pay attention. So even though our words are very important because that's how we convey what we're trying to say, without them it'd be difficult. It's still that nonverbal, even what you're wearing and how you stand. If you're standing straight and confident, then we believe you're confident and we have confidence in what you're saying. If you're sort of, oh, well, then we lose confidence in what we're saying because we feel like you're not confident either. If you are giving, if you're telling, like I've noticed on the news, that newscasters sometimes are giving devastating reports with a smile on their face. It's confusing.
Yes.
You're thinking, okay, well, if that town was just destroyed in a tornado, why is this guy smiling? I don't understand. And we tend to believe that more than what the story is. The 55, let me make sure I get this right. 55% is body language, 7% is content, and 38% is tone of voice. So if I'm talking about something that I'm really excited about, but I'm saying it in a very, well, so then they all jumped up and everybody ran, I'm not adding any excitement to it, and you're believing that it wasn't very exciting. So the other thing that he found was that if the nonverbal is not congruent with the words that you're saying, people will believe the body language and the tone of voice before they'll believe the content of your words. Do you see what I'm saying? I think a perfect example is how we talk to each other. I have a friend who's always, I call it mocking the people around him, including me. When he repeats back something I said, he always goes like this. And it makes me feel like he's acting like I'm either whining or complaining or some kind of negative thing. And I've gotten in the habit of saying to him, is there something wrong with your voice? And he'll go, oh, I'm doing it again? Yeah, I know because I'm a talker and I talk a lot, but I never talk like this. I never say that's not what I want to do, and I'm going to give a speech. I never talk like that, but he always makes it sound like I do. And I think that that happens a lot between communicating with children and their parents. I know that my kids were always saying, stop yelling at me, but I wasn't yelling. They didn't like what I was saying. And I'm sure that my tone was, you know, that pointed finger tone. Now, I've told you a million times that I want you to stop doing that, even though I'm not raising my voice, my facial expressions and my tone makes them feel like I'm yelling at them. So I got in the habit of, after being told so many times, stop yelling at me, why are you yelling at me, to literally yell. I would yell, I'm not yelling. This is yelling. I'm not yelling. So stop saying I'm yelling. You know, we pick up on facial expressions, eye contact, body language, posture. If somebody's talking to you and they're saying, I really love you and I'm very open to what you're saying, if my arms are crossed and I don't look open, then Cassidy's not going to believe what I'm saying to her, because my tone of voice, my facial expression, and my body language are not congruent with me saying, I love you and I'm open to what you're saying, right? Does that make sense to you? I loved the class that we took. I felt like this was great information, because when you're practicing your speeches, of course, what you're writing and the words you're going to convey to us are very important. But also it's important your posture, the way you dress. Normally I'm not very conservative the way I dress. I always think about what I'm going to wear when I come here, because I want you guys to take me seriously and I want you to know that I respect you. So I dress in a way that appears to be respectful, and I don't look like I just got off the street corner. I gave that job up a long time ago. So I thought that this would be great information for me to share with you that you can use as you move forward, and maybe we can touch on it more in the future, and I hope that helps you when you're preparing your speeches.